I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. Tell me we don't live in hell. My brother doing 55 in that cell. Nigga claiming he your round here spin shell. Same nigga you put on to hit the stand and tell. How the fuck you turn your back on a nigga that love you? Treat your kids like my kids, treat you like a brother. I told my dog, let's leave the streets to serve the Most High. He said, fuck that shit, he trying to sell another pot. His daddy killed him, put him in the trunk, set him on fire. His wife was pregnant, he ain't never get to see his child. Had me thinking to myself, what happened if I die? Look my babies in the eyes, I gotta stay alive. I put my ego on the shelf and my pride to the side. I'm with some niggas who gon' step and got God on their side. Got in the ISUPK, they keep asking me why. As I do the work of the Lord, I gotta stay alive. Face the east, pray alive. I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
You ever pump a pack with a snake by your side? Yes, I see a man reach out to God before he died. Yes, I did. I know the Lord forgive us for these sins, but I'm starting to think the kingdom of heaven is for these kids. I told my daughter, there's one man in your bed, I won't stand for less. For my son, I hit your head on that fragile legs. I lost some niggas to that dope, I lost niggas to the feds. Remember Jono tried to stick me for that cheese on that bread, yeah, I was thugging with Lucky, that nigga left me for dead. Endured to the end, cause I listened to what was said. Mother told me she loved me when she was sick up in the bed. I was running them streets, but the truth made me a man. Shit, I don't really speak, cause she'll never understand. That's why I ain't even tell her about these voices in my head. I'm still trying to manage my anger like Uncle Craig.
I seen heaven turn to hell, I gotta stay alive. Lord have mercy on my soul, stand by my side. I killed the old man and I watched him die. Lost a couple niggas, guess he wasn't my round. Hey, play my niggas, lay you down, they all down the ride. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive. I gotta stay alive. Keep my gun in my arm, I gotta stay alive.
Yeah, on 44 shit, you know what I mean? Busy man. Look, when that shit drop, you step all the way on their neck, step on their neck and their head with that shit.
Fine then, I ain't show no mercy, we gon' show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel, I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived, they don't know how I did it. Got it out the mud, straight to glory, they don't know how I did it. He nice, but he don't show them skills, how I show them skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel, how I work the wheel. They mad, I'm too solid, circle tight, yeah, vacuum seal. No, they want my life, I ain't worried, I got rank for it, I got real soldiers, kill for me, nigga, watch yourself. They say you been in beast mode lately, you is not yourself. When you dropping that fire, precious marriage, they inquiring. They can't stop what's coming, but I see them conspiring. Cross the line, them firing. This bitch here, finna break the spin on kindness. I don't trust you, circle small. You can keep your features. Me and my niggas don't keep no secrets. In the field like Jeepers Creepers, say they want some smoke, dog. So I brought these chimney sweeps. Coming like we coming, you can't even cap. These niggas don't run it like we running, bitch, don't even start. Bitch, I'm with my niggas till the end, till them do us part. If you wanna leave, you can leave, bitch. Bless your heart. effect. Yeah, I'm fully focused. You might not see it on me, just know it's women, that bitch fully loaded. Ooh, yeah, we up and rolling. Told them I need major motion. Think I'm joking. I'ma school them niggas like they baby Jody. Got it out the dust. Now I'm too clean. Don't know why they hate me. What you want out life, dog? Guns and butter, baby boy. UPK top, dog. Certified road runner. I'ma turn that eco-line into a damn tank. I got chopper stashed in that attic like they in front. They had that shit on lock until I snapped on them like bolt cutters. You cannot play both sides, gotta choose your colors. See, I'm throwing that one up with that W, that's my blood, bro. Fine in. I ain't show no mercy, I'm gonna show them boy what time it is. I pop out like I'm Samuel. I got time to kill. Haters thought I died, I survived. They don't know how I did it. Got it out the gut, straight to glory. They don't know how I feel. He nice, but he don't show the skills how I show the skills. He ride, but he don't work the wheel how I work the wheel. Ooh, I got it made, circle tight, yeah, back and seal. Said they want my life, I ain't worried. I got Ray for real.
Oh, hey, I don't give a love fuck what them bitches gotta say. I'm a woman with a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't give a love fuck what them niggas gotta say. I'm a woman with a nigga till they put me in the grave. I don't care about what they say. Hey. Fuck with my Akima, fuck with my sisters, then I got a problem, I'm never gonna miss you. I got 100 hanging out the AR, I got a 50 hanging out the pistol. He say it's corner, I'm just being realistic. I be on them corner posted with the realest. If it's the Sabbath, then we going fishing. I'm reeling them in, that's a God-given mission. I'm really on 10, but I'm stamped in the pistol. I get the order, be glad at this mission. Hebrew Academy graduate, nigga. Training, put through the baddest conditions. I don't fuck with none but the baddest of bitches. She righteous, submissive, she glad to be with me. Had that thing Putin like Batman, niggas. She know I'm a prophet, she got to be listening. Disrespect, I ain't having that shit till I go make some business from scratch. She bitchin' the different breed of black men. We don't do the back bend. I remember back when I was really trapping, trying to get the racks in, selling dope to black men. But now I'm trying to make it straight. Like, don't forget about my face. We standing up straight, can't fold us. Too heavy, the world won't hold us. Go get you some rank, I told you. Line up in these ranks, we sold you. You can take that to the bank, we focus on. How many times must we remind you? One body, one way, some break off, but never take up as a place. When the law with you ain't no up next. It's just us, nigga, that's that on that. All that weak shit, that ain't no threat. Say you won't beat, bitch, with that ain't no sweat. We with all that. The Lord called a nigga out the world. I responded and called back. Oh, Lord. And everything that they stole from us, fuck that shit, we want all that. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, YAHANNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like they talking, they say they keep that shit 100, we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. We unaffiliated with them. I cannot fuck around with fake niggas. We taking ground when we in your city. You better have the women, have the liquor. Keep that bitch on me, please don't but the same. Don't be a fool and be another victim. Say you a goon, you just another Christian. How you my brother, you ain't in here with me. In the gutter, deep down in the trenches. We with them niggas locked up in the prison. Fucking Hispanic, Native American, Indian. We ain't just talking shit, but we living in it. We be everywhere, you can't miss it. And we be fresh as hell, take a picture. And we special now with the scriptures. Play, we gon' scratch them, yeah, we some killers. These niggas tripping, they mind blown. Swear business, forgive me if I'm wrong. I don't need it pause when niggas say that they be looking for niggas to slide. On the slide that I know about is when I assemble the Glock with the slide. For real, I get the order, you know that it's slaughter. See me and my niggas gon' die for kill. The bigger the better for kingdom of heaven. You niggas get wet up by me cause I'm fed up. I rep UPK. My niggas won't let up. Got choppers, got 9s, AKs, Berettas. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like bitch or whatever. You say you don't like me, you say you won't fight with me and my nigga like. Them niggas snitching and they act like bitches. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They killing women and they fuck with sisters. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Come on the commanding general, YAHANNA, we unaffiliated with them. Like they talking, they say they keep unaffiliated with them. They telling lies, switching up the doctrine. That's why we unaffiliated with them. They ain't gon' ride until they die, so that's why we unaffiliated with them. Yeah. See, they always ask us like, why y'all don't fuck with such and such? Why y'all won't come together with such and such? I be like, we unaffiliated with them. Understand me? Like, out here on some weirdo shit. And to be honest, that's why we unaffiliated with them. Hey, hey, hey. That's why we unaffiliated with them, yeah. Oh!
Yeah, you know what it is. 140 for the rapper, busy man shit, nigga. They take their head off, nigga.
I read where Eve did to Adam, I just pray my love don't lie to me. Swing the iron like Samson, I can't let no hoe to lie to me. I don't feel these rappers, all they lies is hypocrisy. Ain't no competition, ain't no rivalry. Niggas think I'm playing, I don't hear one word they saying, this shit light work. Think Muhammad one of us, he might lose his life first. Suckle up and stay alert, another cop can stretch the nigga. He ain't demon, it's an exorcism, watch I bless the nigga. Took that open blood, then you know I'm gon' get active with you. Fuck the opposition, I see vision, let me paint the picture. Rappers claim they spit and I ain't listening, is in fact a fear. If revenge was a woman, now I scope that bitch like Jacob. So I war, we gon' run the summer, it's gon' be historical. Thought they making plays, made them niggas call the audible. Ask who run this shit, but that question is rhetorical. Bitch, I'm the one, me cookies with the oil. I'ma get them crackers, hell, should've never kidnapped my family. I can't be do that, bet I be the last nigga standing. Do a life sentence for my niggas, pray you understand me. I might put a switch on this Glock and call it young baby. How you real trigger on them dots? You a bird feeder, claiming he a demon. What's a demon to a cold leader? When he said something, I ain't hear him. This shit like it ain't about who got the gun, it's about who gon' up that fight first. I turn a bad situation to a game changer. Bring soldiers from the dead, just raised up the chain. Bring shots, I'ma look like Aaron Jones when I run it. Never bite the hand that feeds you, you'll never get that hand back. Bitch about 10%, I don't wanna hear none of that. He dropping sword, fuck him, just make sure you get that cover back. Look around, he ain't with us, probably cause he never was. Now my chin like you with the angels for your brothers. Everybody wanna be Richard Porter, God kill him like Alpo. Play if he want, it's laying in the trunk like Lee Malvo. I'm a certified woman's ass nigga, I am not a toy. Hey, I with that hollow sign, yeah, this the rim accord. Feel like Gullah Jake when I'm in Fayetteville, you feel your boy. Still up on my bread, still I think that's all that I do. The way I get it, boy, lost, they gon' start to call him Elroy. Fuck his game, pop out on them demons like I'm Hellboy.
Those are messed up, no. Bad news is to beat your home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on that ass real quick one time. 144, baby. Run that shit up, Trey.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me a whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer bar. Took a Zach, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like a dart. Any problem, let them come. We gon' snatch they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like Miss Hopper. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Throw them boys, we taking note. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas ungrateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I'm making hits like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole car. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this Lord, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our core. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fart. They ain't locked in with the count, and when you speaking to me, chasing with the steppers. Niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch, like Dylan. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they crank that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we hold guard. Yeah, ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, force. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm to our car. And I just made the call. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
They killed, give me Isaiah 14:21. They did the same thing to my people. So you said that they put millions of my actions. Yes, you said. Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating disfigure me. They claim that I'm lazy, be killing me. Maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting. The trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles are making it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be. Slavery for me, and let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. 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 Look, ain't no remorse in my blood, Slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember YAHANNA's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in this body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in his dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in a world of mad shooters. There was designed 5 for our babies to pass through it. And the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Shalom, Israel. With ISUPK coming out of 1 West Harlem, New York, 125th Street under Commander General YAHANNA. And since 1969, we've been bringing out the truth that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are the true children of Israel, per the Bible. I'm your brother, priest and officer YAHANNA, holding down this history class for priest and officer 500 Adunya. It's good to know your history, y'all. When I teach the Lashma Kodash, which it means holy tongue in the Hebrew, Salakia. Didn't even know my computer could do that. So when I teach the Lashma Kodash, I also encourage people that's in that class to, double down and study a history class, because all this is synonymous. All this goes hand in hand. When you learn your native tongue, when you learn your history, because all this is part of our history. This is all part of our knowledge and us learning and us knowing. If we, as a quick example, if we go to the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4, it says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning." Our history was written for our learning, whether in the scriptures or even if we could go as, let me see. All right. Even if we don't go as far back, right? We don't know our history in America. All we know is slavery. We don't know the innovative things we've done and accomplished. We don't know none of our inventors, none of our real elevators, our real leaders that should have been leading our people during those trying times. We don't know none of them, except the ones we heard of, like Marcus Garvey, people like that. You get Thurgood Marshall. You understand what I'm saying? Rosa Parks. You know what I mean? I'm not going to speak on MLK or Malcolm X because of the truth behind that. You understand? But as far as our history as a people, you have people like Nat Turner, Harriet Tubman, and those are during the slave times. But you also have other people during those eras that were evolutionary. You understand? They revolutionized today's society we live in, believe it or not. You understand? We have a lot of great black inventors. If we trying to get that out of my system, I don't know why. But yeah, in the book of Romans, chapter 15, verse 4, it says, "For whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures may have hope." If we be patient, we have hope. Because with patience comes compassion, comes understanding, comes mercy. All the stuff that we ask the Most High to have upon us will be given. You understand? And Salakia. Shout out to everybody in the chat. To those that was watching, I'm sure they'll be back. But shout out to Elder Charles, Shalom Yahbashim Yahushabarakatah, and to the Agwathim that's going to be in there. Shalom Yahushua Thim Bashim Yahushua. But yeah, that brief precept was just to show you that one. To show one, there's nothing new under the sun. Right? But the goal is to not keep reliving all the bad stuff of our past, of our history, or past transgressions. The goal is to move forward, to push forward, to not be, if we're going to repeat something, let's repeat something positive. Let's repeat something good. Let's repeat keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. Let's repeat serving the Most High God. Oh, goodness. Let's repeat the good things. Keeping these law, statutes, and commandments. Keeping the Lord's high holy days and feast days. You understand? Like we have the memorial blowing of the trumpets coming up soon. This is around the time of the year all of our high holy convocations are in play. But you know what? And this is another part of history you need to learn to understand. White people knowing that but they wanted to find a way for us to forget it. It wasn't just domination and control. They created Christmas and New Year's so we could forget Hanukkah. Think about that. They brought up Halloween and Thanksgiving so we could forget about the memorial blowing of the trumpets, the Day of Atonement. You understand? So we could forget about not the Feast of First Fruits, that passed already, not the Feast of Unleavened Bread. We have the Slakia. Yeah, we have the memorial blowing of the trumpets, the Day of Atonement, the Feast of Tabernacles, and Hanukkah coming up. Like, so they created Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, and New Year's so we could forget about those four holy convocations. You understand? Because technically New Year's is in April, beginning of life. But if you don't study your history, how can you know that? You understand? And the beginning of life is the beginning of months, which is in February. You understand? And this is where we have the Lord's annual Passover in the beginning of months. And then we have, after the Passover, we have the Feast of Unleavened Bread, which was, if you followed me on the Sabbath service, we're in those times where the Egyptians were torturing and enslaving our people. And Moses was pleading with the Pharaoh, representing the Most High God, trying to free the Israelites. And he hardened his heart and doubled down on our punishment. So that's where he got slapped with those plagues. And during the Passover, we had put the blood of the lamb over our door so the Passover angel can continue moving on and take out whoever he was assigned to by the Most High God to take out, which was the firstborn everything for the Egyptians, firstborn livestock, firstborn sons, everything. And after the Passover, when we were freed from the Egyptians and we fled to the wilderness, heading to the land of milk and honey, we had the Feast of Unleavened Bread. The Israelites were starving. They were thirsty. They was traveling across the Red Sea because the Most High gave Moses the power to part the sea, and he engulfed all the Egyptians and sucked them right up and took them right up out of there, which was a glorious thing. And then after that, when they made it to the wilderness, the Most High made it possible for them to have food. You understand? Which was the Feast of Unleavened Bread. But in those times, they called it manna. You understand? And then further after that was the Feast of First Fruits that was celebrated. And that's a holy convocation that will be coming up to shortly during the Sabbath service on Saturday. So if y'all tune in from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. to the Sabbath service, you'll learn that history as well. Now, as far as this history, if we study Slaki, and then I can't forget the Feast of Purim. You understand? But this is why they made all these so-called man-made holidays to replace the Holy Convocation so we could forget what they are. Labor Day, Memorial Day, St. Patrick's Day, Santa Maria, Halloween, which is the Day of the Dead, where they dedicate time to memorialize the death of people and the spirits, you understand, which is satanic and paganistic, because when you leave, your spirit leaves your flesh and goes back to the Most High where it belongs, because your spirit was borrowed, that flesh was borrowed, and the flesh goes back into the earth. You understand? All this is part of our history, part of our learning, part of our knowledge. But this is why a lot of our holy convocations were lost in time, because they created such holidays as President's Day, Labor Day, Memorial Day, President's Day, so on and so forth. Let me turn my ring off. Almost forgot. All right. Let's see. You know, we talk about how we want to seek knowledge, but we have to seek the correct knowledge. See, there's a scripture about that. When you sit there and try to read every book and learn everything, when you start adapting and adopting the habits and customs of other nations, it takes you away from the Most High God. 1, 2, it takes you away from your own people, your own customs, your own knowledge. It takes you away from learning what you're supposed to learn, which is the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. You understand? I really pray that you do. This is all part of our learning. We're supposed to learn these law, statutes, and commandments like we could learn rap lyrics for Lil Durk, for King Von, for Sexy Red, Ice Spice. You understand? Sukiana. If we could learn all these famous people's lyrics, then we could learn our law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. We're not stupid. Might be a little crazy, but we're not stupid. We're not. At times we can be foolish. If we go to the book of Job, chapter 8, verse 8, it says, "For inquiry, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to search of their fathers," meaning we have to prepare one another, and that the priests pray that we prepare the youth to search for this knowledge, to search for the history, to search for our fathers, because if we search for our forefathers, then we can find the knowledge that we seek, because they're the elders that came before us, where the knowledge came from. You understand? We need to search for those fathers, not my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, and things like that. No, we got to search for our forefathers. We have to search for Jacob, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You understand? We have to search for those forefathers. We have to search for Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who we ignorantly call Christ. That's what we have to search for. Before I get any deeper, I got articles, I got videos that I want to get into that pertains to our history. People that we should know about from our past.
But the world erased his name. Granville T. Woods was born in 1856. No formal education past age 10, no money, no mentorship. But he had two things nobody could take from him: relentless will and genius. He worked the railroads by day, studied engineering books by night. Every paycheck went to tools and textbooks. By his 30s, he invented a device that changed America: the induction telegraph. It let trains talk to each other while in motion. It prevented crashes, saved lives, and revolutionized transportation. Then Thomas Edison tried to claim it, filed lawsuits, used his fame, his lawyers, his power.
And pay attention to what they're saying. Thomas Edison tried to take his invention for himself and get the credit for it. This is what white people have done to us throughout time.
Granville fought back. And in the courtroom, against all odds, the black engineer from Ohio beat Edison twice. Edison later tried to hire him. Woods said, "I'd rather stay independent." He went on to patent over 60 inventions. His work touched everything.
Edison tried to get slick and hire him because he knew if he'd hire him, he would find a way to have him under contract and under his thumb. So any invention he would come up with, Edison would automatically get the credit for it. He thought he was slick, but this brother was smarter than the average bear. He knew better.
from electric rail cars to telephones to steam engines. Yet when he died in 1910, he was broke and nearly forgotten. There were no monuments, no headlines, no chapter in the textbooks. Why? Because history had a habit of forgetting Black brilliance, but not anymore. Because now you know his name, and now you carry his story. Shouldn't every kid in America be taught about Granville T. Woods? Drop a like if you agree. Repost this so they never erase him again. Truth left behind, town by town. Seriously built America by stealing Black genius and erasing the real inventors. Benjamin Montgomery, born into slavery in 1819, invented a steamboat propeller designed for shallow waters, a revolutionary design that could deliver food and supplies where other boats couldn't go. When he tried to patent it, they rejected his application because he was a slave. Here's what's sick. His white owners then tried to steal credit for Montgomery's invention and patent it themselves. But even they got rejected because the patent office said they weren't the true inventors. This happened over and over again. Black inventors were legally banned from the patent system because they weren't considered citizens. So white owners just took credit for slave inventions and got rich off Black brilliance. Thomas Jennings became the first Black person to get a patent in 1821 for dry cleaning methods, but that was only after 31 years of the patent system existing. It took another 47 years before the first Black woman, Martha Jones, got a patent in 1868. Even when slavery ended, they kept stealing. Patent applications from Black inventors were routinely rejected while white people got patents for the exact same ideas. They built American innovation on stolen Black genius, while keeping the real inventors in poverty and anonymity. Drop a mad face if this angers you, share to expose this theft, and comment your thoughts. Today wasn't about love, it was about terror and death. The first Valentine's Day in America was built on the broken backs of enslaved Black.
Oh, but wait. Y'all say Valentine's Day. Y'all, hold on. Wait now. Hold on now. Y'all say Valentine's Day is about love. Valentine's Day is about buying chocolates and teddy bears and buying stuff for your loved one, your significant other, your girlfriend, your boyfriend. I thought Valentine's Day was about love. But see, this is the stuff that white people do. This is the stuff that oppressors do. They lie, they cheat, they steal, and they murder. They unalive. This is what they do. This is what the enemy does. Let me continue.
Black people. Men, women, and even children were forced to craft hearts, cards, and gifts for their masters, hands raw and bleeding from constant labor, whips cracked, nails split, and bones bruised as they worked. Any mistake could bring a lash, a kick, or worse. Some never finished because the punishment killed them before the work did. Every rose, every ribbon, every delicate fold soaked in sweat, blood, and fear. A whisper, a tremble, a skipped stitch could mean a public beating or death. Children watched parents die under the lash, forced to keep working as if nothing happened. Their suffering became the decorations, the love tokens for the very people who enslaved them. Love, for them, was a weapon. It was cruelty disguised as celebration. The first Valentine's Day wasn't a day of hearts and flowers. It was a stage for torment, where human life was cheap and art was carved from agony. Generations of pain were hidden beneath smiles, poems, and ribbons, erased from history, remembered by no one, except the spirits who still whisper in the shadows of a holiday built on blood.
True.
They won't tell you this. The first jack-o'-lanterns in America weren't pumpkins. They were the skulls of Black slaves, burned black and lit from within, enslaved.
Oh, but I thought, wait. I thought Halloween was about ghosts, ghouls, and goblins and trick-or-treating and buying candy and celebrating with the kids, taking them out trick-or-treating. I thought that was the spirit of Halloween. No, it wasn't. See, again, white people lie, but yet we want to kiss they ass to suck on their sack for acceptance because they control everything.
Enslavers twisted old Celtic rituals into something even darker. After lynchings and executions, the skulls of enslaved Africans were sometimes taken, hollowed, and blackened in fire. Flames were placed inside the bone, turning a human head into a lantern of terror. It wasn't about Halloween fun. It was about fear. These lanterns sent a brutal message: run, resist, or rebel, and this will be your fate. Over time, America buried the truth. Pumpkins replaced skulls, and the story was rewritten to sound innocent, but the roots were soaked in black suffering. So when you see a glowing pumpkin on a porch, remember it began with the skulls of enslaved black people, burned and desecrated to keep us in chains. Halloween hides the horror, but we refuse to forget.
Truth unshackled.
And from every beach along the Chesapeake. So they built their own. In 1893, Charles Douglas, son of Frederick Douglass.
Now with this clip, we need more of this. This is something we need more of. Seclusion, privacy, secrecy, away from the oppressor. We need land that they don't know about and they can't find out, because the second they will, they'll find a way to take it from us. This is something we need as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. Check this out.
Bought 40 acres of waterfront property in Maryland, not for profit, but for freedom. See, black families had the money, the style, the education, but they couldn't swim in the same waters as white folks. Racist policies and resort restrictions kept them out. So Douglas said, forget all that. He carved out Highland Beach. It became the first black-owned beach resort town in the United States. There were no fancy hotels, just summer cottages, gardens, and porches where black excellence could breathe. Scientists, judges, doctors, artists, they all came. Booker T. Washington strolled the sand. Paul Laurence Dunbar wrote poetry under its trees. And Douglas built his own summer home just steps from the water. This wasn't about escaping racism. It was about creating sanctuary. Highland Beach was quiet, private, and proudly black. When nearby towns tried to buy them out, they refused. When erosion threatened their shorelines, they rebuilt. And while many other black beach towns vanished over time, Highland Beach stood tall, the oldest black incorporated municipality in Maryland. It's still here today, small but unbought. They said we didn't belong, so we built where we did. Comment if this is your first time hearing about Highland Beach. They weren't allowed on white beaches, so they made their own. In 1898, just beside Buckrow Beach, Hampton's black leaders built Bayshore Beach and Resort. Businessmen, educators, and community pillars came together. They built hotels, restaurants, amusements, and even an entire midway. On land they owned, families flocked here by rail, kids rode carousels, couples danced under the stars, and elders laughed beside boardwalks. The music floated over the bay. Count Basie, Cab Calloway, Ella Fitzgerald. They all played for crowds of joyful black families. Then a hurricane came in 1933. It nearly destroyed the resort, but they rebuilt a pavilion, a dance hall, and kept on celebrating. It wasn't just a beach, it was freedom in action, a place built by black hands for black lives in full flourish. But when segregation ended, people didn't always choose this beach. Its businesses suffered. By 1973, the resort closed. By the late 1970s, it was gone and replaced by homes. Today, the laughter, the music, the joy, they're buried beneath the sand, but the memory remains unbreakable. Comment if this is your first time hearing about Bayshore Beach.
Recreated slavery, the Black Codes. They said slavery ended in 1865, but the very next year, Southern states found a new way to keep black people in chains. They called them the Black Codes. After the Civil War, millions of freed African Americans thought freedom had finally come, but white lawmakers wrote laws to strip it away. The Black Codes made it illegal to be unemployed, to leave a job without permission, or even gather in large groups. If a black person was accused of breaking one of these laws, they could be arrested, then leased out to plantations, factories, and railroads. codes. It was slavery under a different name, designed to keep Black people trapped in poverty and under control. These laws became the blueprint for Jim Crow segregation and mass incarceration that followed. They promised freedom, but wrote laws to steal it back. That's the history they don't want you to know. If this shocked you, hit like and follow, because we're bringing the buried truth back to light. The dark truth behind Mr. Peanut. You know him. Top hat, cane, monocle. Mr. Peanut. For over a century, he's been one of the most recognizable mascots in America. But here's what they don't tell you. Planters took off in the early 1900s when peanuts were tied to slavery and sharecropping. For generations, enslaved Africans were forced to plant and harvest peanuts in southern fields. After slavery, Black farmers were trapped in cycles of poverty through sharecropping, growing the very crop that made planters rich. Mr. Peanut wasn't just a mascot, he was a cover, a cartoon aristocrat. While real Black laborers in the South lived in poverty, locked out of the wealth their work created. The monocle and cane, a symbol of wealth, built off the backs of people who could never afford a taste of it. So next time you see Mr. Peanut, remember, behind the smile and top hat is a history America would rather you forget. If you want more buried truths about the famous brands you thought were harmless, follow Buried Headlines.
Slave masters in the British-controlled West Indies used an altered version of the Bible with the intent to keep their slaves in subjection. Introducing the Slave Bible. The Slave Bible omitted 90% of the contents in the Old Testament and 50% in the New Testament as a means to promote a pro-slavery rhetoric. Books like Exodus were removed to discourage slaves from gaining inspiration from the Israelites escaping bondage from Egypt. They also removed verses such as Galatians 3 verse 28, which promoted a more egalitarian.
Did y'all catch that? I don't think y'all caught that. When they created the slave
discourage
Bible,
slaves from gaining inspiration.
This is for these so-called
omitted 90%.
This is for these so-called Christians that talk shit about the Bible or try to sit there and drive us away from waking the hell up and try to keep us asleep. Slocky. Shalom, Lord Christ, I ain't see more, so this clip right here is to show proof that when they made the slave Bible, they did that to keep us asleep so we couldn't wake up. That's why even Nat Turner seen through it and rebelled and unalived 60 of them damn Ritz crackers. And this is why they hung him, burned him alive, and ate his flesh and turned his skin into handbags and book covers. You understand? Check this out.
Of the contents in the Old Testament that slave masters in the British-controlled West Indies used an altered version of the Bible with the intent to keep their slaves in subjection. Introducing the Slave Bible. The Slave Bible omitted 90% of the contents in the Old Testament and 50% in the New Testament as a means to promote a pro-slavery rhetoric. Books like Exodus were removed to discourage slaves from gaining inspiration from the Israelites escaping bondage from Egypt. They also removed verses such as Galatians 3 verse 28, which promoted a more egalitarian ideology, and kept verses such as Ephesians 6 verse 5, which was more in alignment with their narrative. Since white Christian missionaries wanted to convert the slaves in the West Indian Islands, thus teaching them how to read, they had to indoctrinate them with a heavily modified version of the Bible to discourage a rebellion. The Bible doesn't teach chattel slavery, so they had to use subterfuge and deception. Jeremiah 22 verse 13. Woe unto him that buildeth his house by unrighteousness, and his chambers by wrong, that useth his neighbor's service without wages, and giveth him not for his work. Exodus 21 verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
World War II was used as an excuse to take thriving Black-owned land in Georgia, and it was never returned. Follow if you want more hidden history. In 1942, Harris Neck, Georgia, was home to a self-sufficient Black community. Families owned land, farms, and businesses. The U.S. government seized it for a wartime airfield, promising to return it when the war was over. But after the airfield closed, that promise was broken. Instead of giving the land back, it was turned into a wildlife refuge. Generations of families who had built lives there were locked out forever. Harris Neck is just one example of how black land ownership was stripped away, not just by mobs or banks, but by government policy itself. And the effects still echo today, with land loss being a major barrier to wealth in black communities. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, hit follow and share, because history like Harris Neck should never be forgotten.
1 second.
Salakia, sir. What scripture you need me to pull?
Isaiah 41:10.
I don't come. Let me write it down.
I'm going through some of these videos now because I got a whole bunch of them. And the reason why I'm going through them because I'm showing the difference between what they did during slavery. And not only that, we have to know more about than just slavery as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. How can we learn about the law, statutes, and commandments if we don't learn how we lost our identity in the first place? How can we learn that we're supposed to follow the Most High God if we don't know what white people did to us for us to forget it in the first place? You understand? How can we learn how to gather together if we never knew what it was like to gather together? We gathered together as slaves, but we also gathered together to build and innovate. I just showed clips about 2 beaches that we never heard of that was owned and kept up by blacks. You understand? One of them still stands in Maryland to this day, unaffected and untouched. Let me know if you're able to pull scriptures for me, because if you can, I'm gonna go live on TikTok so we could grow the views. No, that's that. Okay, so let's see. All right, while you pull that, I'm gonna show this. Now, this is an example that we y'all think a lot of these movies in Hollywood was made for fiction. They did a real live purge and buried it because they didn't want us to find out. Like, there's a truth about the movie It, and they don't want us to find out. There's a truth about the original the real life Ronald McDonald. They don't want us to know. But we sit there and spend our money in these establishments and feed our children this garbage. Check this out, y'all. This is why history pays to learn.
Taken during a real purge test, but no one was ever supposed to see it. In 1978, the government launched Project Clean Slate, a one-night experiment where all crime was legal for 12 hours. The test site, a forgotten town in Nevada called Ash Hollow. Residents were told it was a drill. Cameras were hidden in every streetlight. Guns were left in unlocked crates, and when the sirens wailed at 7 p.m., the town exploded into chaos. Neighbors turned on each other. A school teacher lit her principal on fire. A 9-year-old ran through the chaos, holding something tightly against her chest, her father's severed hand wrapped in a torn bedsheet. By morning, 72% of the town was dead. But here's the terrifying part. The footage was never leaked. It was shown only to top officials, who called it a resounding success. 2 years later, in 1980, a whistleblower named Lyle Denton, who worked on the project, stole a tape and mailed it to a local news station in Utah. But the broadcast was mysteriously cut mid-air. Lyle disappeared the next day. His trailer was found burned to the ground, a single phrase carved into the dirt beside it. The purge begins when we say it does. To this day, no record of Ash Hollow exists on any map, but if you drive east of Elko and the wind is just right, you can still hear the sirens.
Where the other one at? Matter of fact, no.
Fast food clown was hiding something far worse than bad burgers. In 1987, in a forgotten corner of Illinois, a small-town McDonald's reopened after years of abandonment. Locals were excited, but something felt off. A new mascot greeted customers. He called himself Ronnie, tall, lanky, with a yellowed clown suit and a painted-on smile that looked like it had been carved into his face. No one saw him arrive. No one ever saw him leave. But every night, kids begged to go back. They said the food tasted better than anywhere else. house, and Ronnie always gave out special Happy Meals. Then, children started disappearing. A little boy went missing in the play area. A teenage cashier clocked out and never made it home. Police said it was coincidence, bad luck, until a janitor unlocked the maintenance door behind the kitchen. Inside, a staircase leading down. Police raided the building. What they found in the basement was sickening. Dozens of torn uniforms, Polaroids of crying kids, meat grinders still running, and in the corner, a massive cold locker labeled 100% fresh meat. Ronnie was never caught, but even today, locals whisper he's still down there, waiting, watching.
But the bodies were real.
This is what
This
they
is
want
the
us to
real
learn
life Bugs
about
Bunny.
McDonald's
In 1947,
or
the NYPD arrested a
Burger
man
King
called
or
Lester
all
Bugs
these other
Milano.
so-called food
He had a thing for
right?
carrots and for digging holes.
This is the
Literally,
real truth about
Bugs
Bugs
worked for
Bunny.
the Tremont crew in the Bronx. He wasn't a hitman. He was a disposer. No one ever saw him carry a weapon, just a shovel and a sack of raw vegetables. He'd show up whistling, dirt under his nails, chewing a carrot like a cigar. Guys joked about it, called him the rabbit. Then those guys stopped showing up. When the feds finally caught him, he led them to 17 shallow graves. Around some of them, they found rotting carrot ends, like he'd been snacking while he worked. One even had a tunnel system, like he was practicing. In court, he smiled the whole time, said he just liked digging. Better than going underground the other way, he told the judge. They sentenced him to life, but he escaped 6 months later, dug out beneath the prison garden. They never caught him, just found a single carrot wedged in the bars of his empty cell.
Facts from New Jersey you never knew. The last one will blow your mind. Number 1. New Jersey is the most densely populated state in America, with over 1,200 people per square mile, yet it's called the Garden State. Number 2. New Jersey has more diners than any other state and is considered the diner capital of the world with over 500 locations. Number 3. The state produces the most blueberries in America and invented the modern blueberry industry through selective breeding. Number 4. New Jersey is the only state where it's illegal to pump your own gas. Attendants must do it for you by law. Number 5. The boardwalk was invented in Atlantic City in 1870, making New Jersey the birthplace of the classic American boardwalk. Number 6. New Jersey has the most shopping malls per square mile of any state, including the largest mall in America by total area. Number 7. The state has more Superfund toxic waste sites than any other state, but also some of the strictest environmental cleanup laws in the country. New Jersey also invented baseball, ice cream cones, and the submarine sandwich all within its borders. Before I say the last one, make sure you hit that follow button to support the channel. Number 8. There's a place in New Jersey called the Pine Barrens that covers over 1 million acres and is home to the legendary Jersey Devil creature that people have been reporting for over 300 years. The area is so spooky and isolated that it inspired Stephen King novels, and there are parts so remote that people get lost for days, just 30 minutes from major cities like Philadelphia and New York.
Well, shoot, 1 million acres, what you expect? But what you think about that, Marvin Shaw? You seen the truth about Ronald McDonald?
Nah, sir. I had missed that. You know what I mean? I'm thinking I was able to chime in today to get some work done. And then my rib and my son, she came and got him early. He was leaving, going to my stepdaughter's house. I said, all right, finally, I'm free for a second. And he come back and bother me. It said, I didn't miss the clip on that.
Well, let me tell you about the truth about Ronald McDonald. The real Ronald McDonald was kidnapping and unaliving men, women, and children. And when he got exposed, they found torn clothes in the basement and a cold locker that said 100% fresh meat.
Good night.
And this is how the original McDonald's burgers were created.
So they was really created through human flesh.
Yes.
Good night. I heard that. I've heard that, and I thought it was a conspiracy theory.
No, it really happened. And I just showed the truth about the real Bugs Bunny. The real Bugs Bunny was this dude, this white man that worked for the mob. He wasn't a hitman enough that he was a disposal man. He the one that disposed of the bodies. he would dig shallow graves while chewing on the head of carrots, while chewing on the base of the carrot. You understand? They said they locked him up and he escaped through the prison garden and he never got caught. You understand? Like this is the truth about these so-called people that we look up to as iconic in today's time, like Ronald McDonald, the movie It. The original It was a horror, was a real horror. People really got unalived from, those circuses that used to come to town.
Yeah,
Those circuses that used to come to town. That's how It was created. A circus came into town, and one of these demented white men that dressed in a clown uniform was kidnapping children and unaliving them. That's where they got the idea of the movie It. Now, I just showed a clip of facts about New Jersey. We have 1 million acres of untouched land where we have a real Jersey devil lurking in those acres, which is why it's untouched. And it's miles from Philly. Now, I don't understand how we have homeless people when we got all that land. Got 1 million acres just untouched. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just stuff that it behooves me to think that we got a homeless population out here in the thousands and tens of thousands, but we have all this untapped resource and all this land. And I bet you if that 1 million acres is not that expensive, or it just might be because of what is deemed by the government. You get what I'm saying? But the point is, it's not in northern Jersey, so it's affordable. Because all the land up here, they want a minimum of 700,000 to lease it. So it's going to cost. You get what I mean? If you want to build, or if you want storefront property. But if you get in with a company, if you're able to get a toenail in the door, to where you can get in with a developer from the ground up and invest, like Floyd Mayweather did, you might be able to acquire some type of wealth. Like during his boxing career, he was able to invest in 2 skyscrapers that's in Manhattan to this day, and he was bringing in revenue of $50,000 a month. He invested a couple million, he gets $50,000 a month for the rest of his life. He made solid investments like that. But all this comes from us learning our history. If we learn our history, we can flourish. If we learn these laws, statutes, and commandments, we can flourish with the Most High God.
Right.
If we learn these laws, statutes, and commandments and become fishers of men and raise more people up in this truth, we can be wealthy in the eyes of the Lord. Because whether we don't see it now, we'll see it in the new kingdom.
Right.
Even our brokest, poorest brother in the kingdom will be richer than any Jeff Bezos, any Elon Musk, any Donald Trump that we have in this kingdom.
Right.
Guaranteed. Our net worth that have too many O's behind it. You understand?
Right.
We would just be wealthy, beyond wealth. And that's what and all it takes is for us to serve the Most High. That's all it takes. If we can serve the Most High. Were you able to get that precept for me?
I'm con, sir.
Let me get it.
It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 41, verse 10. Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed.
The Lord, this thing right there that the Lord is with us. See, we can't see him, so how can we know that he's with us? You know why? You know how you know that the Lord is with you? Because if you keep his law, statutes, and commandments and fearing him, he will be with you when you're going through something and you see it through. When you go through a time of adversity and almost all hope is lost, but you still keep that little mustard seed of faith and you make it through.
Right.
Understand? Those are the times that we have to understand that the Lord be with us. Not during those times where we're about to go run up in this building and rob these niggas, and we say, Lord, help me get through this robbery. Help me get through the situation. Let me rob these niggas. No, that's not the Lord being with you, dummy. But the Lord will allow you to be a fool so you can learn.
Right.
Understand? We have to know history. We have to know who we are, where we came from. You understand? And part of that is by learning the beginning, not just slavery, but where we come from through history and through slavery. Drop that. Let me get the book of Colossians, chapter 3, verse 20. Matter of fact, give me Proverbs 16 and 12.
Don't come.
This is for the corrupt leadership. Now, you missed earlier in the beginning, right? There was a brother that created the what we call now in today's time the communication system for trains, meaning trains that could talk to other trains and conductors while in motion. You understand? The first electric telegraph, where you were able to communicate with the station or communicate with other trains while in motion. A black man invented it. Thomas Edison tried to steal his idea, took him to court, and the brother won. He beat Edison twice in court. And he was able to get a patent for it. Wasn't until 20 years later, but he was able to get a patent for it. And then I showed her, and then Edison tried to hire him. He said, "Nah, I'm good. I'm better off independent." Because had he hired him, he would have had him sign documents saying basically any ideas you come with from the time that you work for me, those are my ideas. See, and it showed that white people have stolen the ideas from blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians all throughout time and throughout history. I showed another video where it showed proof. From 1809 to 1868, blacks have been denied patents, and their slave masters have tried to take their ideas and get patents for them, but they still got denied because they weren't the originator of the idea. They thought they would be slick. However, they've still done that all throughout time and history, taking our ideas and profited from them. This is all part of the reason of us not knowing our identity, us not knowing who we are, us not knowing our God, because it was taken from us. You seen that clip I showed with the slave Bible?
So I seen that one.
They tried to make their own version of the damn slave Bible just to keep us asleep. But Nat Turner seen through that. But think about it. They took out Exodus and they took out parts of Galatians. They took the whole chapter of Exodus out. Hell, they didn't even put the Maccabees in there.
Salakia, sir. They took the Maccabees, they took the Apocrypha out of the original Bible too, the Roman Catholic Church of the Protestants, I believe.
Why would they put the Apocrypha in there when the Apocrypha teaches us about standing up against tyranny, against adversity, against oppression? That whole first and second book of the Maccabees is telling you, be proud. You stand up for your Father, the Most High God, and you die with honor. You will come back, but you're gonna take this be as punishment, and you're gonna die with your head up high. That woman lost all 7 of her sons. They all got dismembered, disattached, and unalived. And you know what? She told them to do it with your chin up.
Damn right.
Do it with your chin up, and you do it proudly. You go die with pride, and you go die with your brothers. This is how I raised you. You're raised to fear the Most High God, not man. You fear the Creator. That takes a lot of gumption. That takes a lot of pride. You understand? Young brothers in today's society not doing that. They gonna tell.
Right.
Again, they gonna kiss the ass and suck on the sack of the oppressor, trying to fit in, trying to get spared, trying to hope they can remove some of that knee off that neck. Let me get that precept.
Khan, sir. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness.
It's an abomination to kings to commit wickedness. Meaning, like King David, it was an abomination for him to lust over Uriah's wife.
Right.
That was an abomination to the Most High God because you have fornication in your eyes. How dare you? And all that I've given you. You know me, I'm paraphrasing, but that's something that a father would say to his son, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you're not supposed to lust after another woman, especially if she belongs to another man. And if she's a walker of the night, meaning if she is a prostitute, a slur, or 304, you understand, it's an abomination to the Most High God, because those are women that you cannot make your wife. You know, they don't understand how selfish they are by taking themselves off of the market like that. They say it's hard to find a good man. No, it's hard to find a good woman. There's too many 304s and scammers out here. How can we find a virtuous woman? In Proverbs 31:10, it says, who can find a virtuous woman? For her value is far above rubies. There's women in the, it's like digging through a pile of rocks, looking for a gem or a jewel or a diamond. You're going to sift through a whole lot of rocks before you find something shiny. Right. And you might have to crack a rock or two open to see if there's something in there. Read that precept from the top.
I don't con, sir. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 16, verse 12. It is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
For the throne is established by righteousness.
Right. The throne is established by righteousness. Donald Trump has no right to be on a throne of any kind. Neither does Elon Musk. You understand? We deal with false leadership forever. Look how long Jesse Jackson and Reverend Al Sharpton was false leading our people while they were sucking on the sack of the oppressor, trying to get reparations or trying to get donations for their campaign. What happened to Jesse Jackson running for president? Why do you think that was so short-lived in the 70s? He was scared to get unalived, the coward. Where he at now? You don't hear about him. You hear Al Sharpton here and there on the radio on Sundays trying to promote marching. That doesn't work. That's never worked. Marching never worked. So why do it? Why keep doing something that's not going to work? The definition of insanity is doing the same damn thing, expecting a different result. Al Sharpton is insane. Creflo Dollar is insane. TD Jakes is insane. The problem with Creflo Dollar is he would rather you spend 90% paying tithes over 10%, because his selfish ass wants a new private jet to go with his Bentley coupe. I don't understand it myself. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yes, lock it, sir. Another thing too, when we talking about these kings and everything, right? And kings is also talking about like the leaders, like what you bringing out, like I mean,
corrupt leaders.
Corrupt leaders.
We bringing that precept out. Corrupt leadership.
Yeah, people that's in charge and everything. Yeah, I see where you're going with the Martin Luther King, the Al Sharpton, Jesse Jackson. What about this? What do we know about this sister that everybody's trying to be big on now? The Crockett sister, who supposed to be?
I don't know about her, because again, if she's trying to usurp authority over a man, I don't even want to waste my time hearing about her.
Right.
She needs to know her place and stay in it. And it's not saying that a woman doesn't have a place, but a woman cannot come on our platform or any other platform that we have and show proof in the Bible that a woman ran with the 12 disciples in Christ.
Right.
Not one. And don't worry, I'll wait for it. Not saying that women don't have an important place in the Bible. They do. They have an important place as righteous sisters, doing what they're supposed to do by taking care of their household, because it's more than just a household. It's a kingdom. You have fields. You have a home. You have servants. You have handmaids. You have children. You have a lot going on. And not only that, you're a supreme hustler. Sisters is making garments, they creating jewelry, they going down to the marketplace and selling it, making money to bring back home, seeing a piece of property that their husband might like. You know what? Yeah, I'm gonna buy that. I'm gonna grow grapes so I can make wine, so we don't have to go buy wine. That is a righteous sister. That is a gem. That is a jewel. That is a ruby. That is her place. You understand? As a princess of the power, doing everything else to make the kingdom grow and to make her husband's job easier, simpler. All he has to do is go prophesy to the wind and raise the dead and help our people. That's it. Everything else is handled. That is a glorious woman. That is a beautiful and glorious woman to have.
Right.
Do we normally have that in today's society? Nowhere close. Nowhere close.
It's a Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
If I make two, my Lord, right? And also, too, right, my Lord, it says, too, it's an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, man. A lot of brothers, right, a lot of simps was supposed to be leaders of these sisters, right?
Right.
And you can see them all on Facebook. Every day is the battle of the sexes, right? And these simps, man, they done sat out here. They chose. Look, the one thing that we know that sisters, everybody thought that money. If you give sisters money, they'll respect you. We remember we did a class on this. We see Xavier Worthy getting extorted from the Kansas City Chiefs. His woman was taking all his money and giving it to a broke man, right? So we know, okay, money ain't earning a woman's respect. So then simps thought that, you know what, we're going to run game on them. If you run game on them and you do this and you tell them that they're beautiful, no, romanticize them. Don't start romanticizing them. If you start romanticizing them, you thought that'll change a woman. Nope. The only thing that gets women in order is having strength. And men were supposed to have strength. And men fell weak of their strength because we all was too busy chasing the vajayjay. So that made us wicked kings as well. You know, because we did not properly lead these sisters. And now that because we fell weak, running behind these sisters, being simps, prostituting our sisters, giving them money for no reason, and putting them on a pedestal and romanticizing them for no reason. Now they running around here off the chain. And you know what the Simpsons saying now on Facebook, sir? Now that the sisters is out of control, you know what they're saying?
What?
They're saying if it ain't snowing, I ain't going.
You know what? I'm glad you said that, Baba Sir. Let me give an example of what happens when it's snowing, right? check this smooth stuff out, right? Check out this is what happens when it snows.
Hey, girl. It's my wife you're talking to. Hey, man, listen, I'm talking to the sisters here. Hell, you were.
Before Tony could explain, Anton swung his baton at him. Tony kept dodging the attacks. The noise alerted Anton's father. His wife urged Anton to stop, but he looked like he was ready to kill Tony.
You're crazy, man. He's got a knife!
Because of this dangerous move, the situation quickly escalated. Anton's father came out holding a shotgun, and the onlookers, mostly black, scattered in fear. Seeing the danger, Tony quickly ran, but the person behind him mercilessly pulled the trigger. Tony collapsed to the ground, unable to move. After hearing this, Anton's father lowered his gun, seemingly considering letting Tony go. But what he didn't expect was...
Better stop that before you kill it. You better get back to your house, woman.
The elderly woman could only watch helplessly as Tony lay there, motionless. To her shock, Anton shot him once more, then left, satisfied. Tony was rushed to the hospital for emergency treatment, but ultimately, they couldn't save him. Tony's mother was nearly devastated. She couldn't understand why white people harbored such hatred for black people, especially when her son had fought for the country in the Vietnam War, only to return home wounded. When the news spread, it sparked outrage among the black community, leading to widespread chaos as they expressed their anger and sense of injustice.
Hey, girl.
That's pretty much.
They teach you Napoleon was a military genius, but they'll never teach you about the black man who outranked him.
Now that's what happens when
Thomas
when
Alexandre Dumas was born enslaved and sold by his own father for cash. But by 31, he wasn't just free. He was a general in the French army, commanding over 50,000 white soldiers in the middle of the French Revolution. They called him the Black Devil because he fought with 2 swords in his hands and destroyed enemy armies in the freezing Alps, leading men through impossible battles Napoleon wouldn't even try. Dumas won so many battles they made him commander-in-chief of an entire French army, a title no other black man in Europe ever held. But when Napoleon saw a black man rising that high, he did what weak men in power always do. He crushed him. Napoleon had Dumas thrown in a dungeon, starved him nearly to death, and stripped him of everything. Dumas survived, but they tried to erase his name from history. His own son, Alexandre Dumas, turned his father's life, the betrayal, the revenge, the survival, into the Count of Monte Cristo, one of the most famous stories in the world. They don't teach you this because Thomas Alexandre Dumas proved a black man could rise higher than an emperor. And they never wanted you to know that. If you're tired of whitewashed history, hit like, drop a comment, and follow, because this is the truth they hope you'll never find out.
This is why it doesn't pay for it to snow.
Right.
Because this is where victory could have meant independence. With Jackson,
So that's a horrible demon, man.
would not have stopped at Gettysburg. Imagine Confederate columns.
I can show proof through history that they do this to their own people.
Retreating.
Not just blacks, especially in it. They're savages to their own kind.
Britain and France.
They will unlock their own people to prove a point.
Recognition,
or for a piece of
money,
power.
maybe even weapons for the South. Jackson's survival,
and that's what makes them the most subtle beast of the
field. It could have forced the Union to the negotiating table. America divided in two.
Not us disliking them because of the color of the skin. You don't give a crap about the color of your skin. We care about the crimes your people commit against our people.
Might have ended the United States.
Period. Hold on, let me get through a couple more of these. I got quite a few.
The story of America's most successful black financial district. They don't want you to know this, but Dallas had a thriving black empire that made millionaires before most white folks even knew what jazz was. Have you been to Deep Ellum? Yes or no? Deep Ellum wasn't just some neighborhood. It was a financial powerhouse that had white city officials absolutely terrified. Picture this: black banks so successful, they were funding businesses across Texas. Insurance companies run by former slaves' children who were now richer than their former masters' grandkids. Jazz clubs where legends like Bessie Smith and Louis Armstrong didn't just perform, they invested their money and bought property. The white establishment watched black Texans build generational wealth, and it drove them insane. So what did they do? They didn't burn it down like Tulsa. They were smarter. They called it urban renewal. Highways became their weapon. Development became their excuse. By the 1960s, they had systematically bulldozed millions
shut us down and destroy what we built.
Deep Ellum made more black millionaires per capita than Harlem ever did, but Dallas buried that story completely. Ever walked through Deep Ellum and wondered why it feels so different? Now you know. Share this story. Dallas needs to remember what it destroyed.
By oilmen and cattle barons. But what if the most powerful weapon against Jim Crow wasn't a gun or a law? It was a bank. William Madison McDonald was born to formerly enslaved parents and rose to become one of the most influential black leaders in the South. He built the Fraternal Bank in Fort Worth, the first black-owned bank in Texas, giving loans and financial tools to families that white banks shut out. He used money as resistance, turning finance into freedom. Here's the part they never teach. While lawmakers worked to keep black Texans poor and dependent, McDonald's Bank proved that wealth could be a weapon. He mentored young leaders, funded schools, and challenged the system not with speeches, but with strategy. And yet his name has been buried. No monuments, no statewide recognition. Entire textbooks erase him, while celebrating men who never built anything for black Texas. Imagine if his model of wealth building had spread across the state. How many thriving black businesses, schools, and neighborhoods would still exist today? How different would the racial wealth gap look right now? Do you call his erasure progress or betrayal? Drop your answer in the comments. Follow for more hidden truths they don't want you to remember.
This is stuff that we need to learn.
But not the black
all this is part of our history.
It was called Idlewild, and during segregation, it was our escape. Idlewild, Michigan, founded in 1912, one of the only places in America where black families could own lakefront property, throw parties, and vacation without fear. This wasn't survival. This was joy. Idlewild had over 300 black-owned businesses, lakeside lodges, and legendary
You remember that movie they made called Idlewild?
the Flamingo Room, the
Lock
Idle
yourself.
House,
You
and the
remember that movie they
performers
made
Duke
called
Ellington,
Idlewild?
Aretha Franklin,
Sir.
Jr.
This is what
They weren't
inspired
side acts, they were the stars. But here's what they don't tell you. Idlewild wasn't just about parties, it was about peace, ownership, dignity, a place where Black families vacationed in luxury without being policed, watched, or excluded. But as the world slowly opened up, Idlewild faded. Not because it failed, but because the very success of integration left it behind. The businesses closed, the tourists stopped coming, and the Black Eden faded from memory. But Idlewild, it's still here, still owned in part by Black families, still standing as proof that we didn't just survive Jim Crow. We created joy in the middle of it. Why didn't they teach us this? Drop a comment if you're glad you found out, and follow Black South, because we didn't just resist, we built our own. They built the city brick by brick, but were locked out of the very unions they helped make powerful. In Jim Crow Birmingham, Black Masons were master builders. They laid the bricks for banks, schools, churches, courthouses, and whole neighborhoods. But when it came to labor unions, they were told they didn't belong. So they built something else. In 1941, Black bricklayers in Birmingham formed Local 2 of the Bricklayers, Masons, and Plasterers International Union, the only Black-led bricklayers union in the South at the time. But they didn't stop there. They built their own headquarters. Bricklayers Hall, a 3-story building in Birmingham's 4th Avenue business district, became more than just a meeting space. It was a symbol. Black men who had been excluded from white unions now had their own union hall, their own offices, their own platform, and they built it with their own hands. Inside, they trained new generations of skilled Black craftsmen. Outside, they helped shape the civil rights movement. The hall became a place of planning, power, and pride. You can still walk past it today. It stands not just as a building, but as a reminder that when doors were closed, Black workers built their own. Did you know this legacy existed in Birmingham? Comment if this is your first time hearing this.
Came through. They had to leave everything. The main thing they left was property. My grandfather had 100 acres.
Rucker says many relatives died as they tried to flee.
So when they got to the Chattahoochee River, from what I understand, they were told, when the mob got up on the bridge, they were told that they either had to swim or drown. Most of them didn't make it. My grandfather, one of them that did make it, he lost some brothers and sisters.
He says his relatives who survived settled in Gainesville.
From what my mother told me, buried all of them. He would sit and tell her this story, and he would just sit and cry.
Crosby says whites in the area took over the remaining properties. She says Oscarville farmers were specifically skilled in raising poultry, which set the pace for Gainesville eventually becoming poultry capital of the world.
You have a farm already going, and you had free land, so you just take it.
Rucker says his great-grandfather married his second wife, Beulah, and they built this school that still stands in Gainesville today. By the late 1950s, the Beaufort Dam was built and Lake Lanier was formed, covering up Oscarville and swallowing most of its history. Many believe Lake Lanier is haunted because of the high number of drownings. We spoke to officials who tell us because there is an entire town that includes structures and even forest areas with trees that are 60 feet tall, it makes it more difficult to navigate through, and someone can easily become trapped in debris leading.
I'm going to take a break on the clips, but let me say something. I bring this out because this is history that we're supposed to know that we don't know. How are we going to know about where we come from if we don't study about it? Oh, Shalom. Y'all about to me Shop Rocketaro Sadania in the chat. Shout out to and shout out to everybody that's in the live stream on TikTok as well, man. Let me tell you something, Osaw. It's crazy that, you know, our history can so easily get lost and misplaced, and they try to make it seem like it's such a light thing and we shouldn't sweat it. But put the shoe on the other foot, they'll be outraged. Oh, we supposed to know about General Custer and Napoleon. F them. What about Dumas? He led the whole entire French military. and want
Right.
everything. This is the stuff that it really is disturbing. You understand what I saw? And all this comes from false leadership, and from
Right.
us not having proper leadership, and for us not knowing our history. I want you to grab me Luke chapter 22 and 26 real quick. And then we're going to switch it up to a history precept. Right now, I want to show this more examples of corrupt leadership that's causing the reason for us to lose our history and lose our identity. Luke 22 and 26.
I got it right here, my Lord. It's the book of Luke. It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 26. But ye shall not be so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger.
Let these young black innovators innovate. The fact that we're black is why we can't innovate. We're black, so it's the reason why we can't elevate. It's because we're black. It's because they want to take our ideas from us. Marshall, a whole 60 years, a whole 57 years went by before black people could actually get patents. And for those 57 years, from 1819 to 1858, 68, white people have tried to take our patents and use our ideas and use that as an excuse that they're the real people behind building this country up to what it is today. We created the traffic light. We created the lighting system. Yeah, they say Thomas Edison created the light bulb. Okay, that's cute. We created the first teleprompter. We created the first telegraph to where trains and conductors can communicate with each other on the rails, so nobody can crash, so on and so forth. We are the real inventors. We are the real creators. You understand? We are what made America great. But you leave it to the oppressor, they'll say we're the reasons behind its destruction. How? When this is y'all playing field. Y'all the one that put everything in play. From the 70s on up, from the mid 70s, when they brought the cocaine into the country, we ain't own no planes or boats. Y'all put that in urbanized neighborhoods so we could destroy ourselves. You understand? Then crack hit the streets in the 80s, destroyed our people. And then Reagan wants to come out and say war on drugs, a war that you started. Right. Y'all put guns and drugs over here for the streets. Now we at a time where y'all can't control the gun market. Y'all still in control of the drugs. I put out some boots on the ground the other day, Marshall. Do you know there was over 3 seizures of over 120 tons of cocaine seized off the port of Chicago and off the port of Florida? Tons, damn kilos, tons of cocaine and weed. A semi got pulled over on the highway with hundreds of millions of dollars in it, just money. And other truck drivers being interviewed and saying, "There's no way you're not going to know that's not in your load back there." Like, just making it worse for the brother. You get what I'm saying?
Con, sir.
Like, we got to understand, there's a lot going on, but we're not the ones that created this stuff. Where are all these drugs coming from? How are they allowing it over here? And then the thing is, they're allowing it over here so they can seize it and say and want the credit for it, to say, "Hey, we're doing a good job. Pat us on the back." Shut the hell up. Y'all one of the most corrupt governments ever. Let me get that precept from the top.
Con, sir. It's the book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 26. But ye shall not be so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, and he that is chief, as he that he does serve.
Now, my thing is this. If you got a boatload of slaves that are very intelligent and can create, why wouldn't you just take good care of those slaves and put them in a position where they can make your plantation blow up above any other plantation in the United States?
Right.
To the point where other slave owners is gonna be hating. They're gonna want to know your secret. You want me to share my secret? Give me some more. Give me some of them slaves. Give me 30 of your best, your strongest and smartest slaves. You understand? Get you some more slaves and let me get those. And I'll share a little secret with you. You get what I'm saying? Like, at least try to make it look like you want some parts of our intelligence other than to just use us and abuse us. And another reason why we couldn't get those patents, because in the U.S. Constitution, we was only considered 3/4 of a human being.
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
So for, again, another 57 years is why we could not get a patent. But again, if we knew our history, if we knew our identity, we knew our heritage, maybe we had an inkling of a damn clue, we just might be able to get ahead. We just might have been able to get a piece of that pie, some way, some form, somehow. You understand? Let me drop that. Let me get 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11. It seems like I'm all over the place, but I'm really not. I'm bouncing back and forth between us learning history and learning about the corrupt leadership in the midst of it. Let's see.
You said it's 1 Corinthians what, sir?
Chapter 10, verse 11. Read it when you got it.
Okay.
1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11.
I got it. It's the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 11. Now all these things happen unto them for examples.
Say that again.
All these things happen unto them for examples.
For examples. All these things is happening to our Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians for an example. This is an example when you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Slavery is an example if you don't keep the law, statutes, and commandments. If you are not serving the Most High God, how can you expect to get your patent cleared with these devils? You're not even serving your father to have him on your side for you to get it done. How can you expect your life to go in the direction it needs to if you ain't got your God with you? People will see, Marstar, we're so foolish. We don't understand the importance of having our God with us.
Right.
And all this stems from us not knowing our history, us not knowing our identity. Our identity is attached to our history. It's synonymous. This is why I say what I say when I teach Lashwan Kodash on Fridays, when I teach the Hebrew. All this is attached. Your language, your identity, your history, all this is synonymous and connected to one another, and you must learn it.
Right.
Eventually, everybody's going to have to be in that Hebrew class. Whether now or later, it's up to y'all. But eventually, y'all going to have to start getting into that class. Because once you start learning your history, you'll learn your identity. Once you start learning your identity, now you got to learn your language. Guess what? I'm teaching the language. Come learn it with me. Because even though I teach it, I'm still learning as I go along. So we get to learn together. As soon as I learn something, I teach y'all. So I'm keeping y'all up and abreast with what I'm learning. But y'all got to tune in to learning. There's more on that.
Kanun Khan, sir.
Read it again for the top.
Kanun Khan, sir.
Tell them where you at.
It's the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 10, verse 11. Now, all these things happen unto them for examples, and they are written for our abomination, upon who the ends of the world are come.
See, these was written for our abominations and for our end to come, because we're at the latter days. This was a reason. It was a reason why I had this particular precept read, because we're in the latter days. We are in the end of days. The end is here. The time is now. You understand? We are already past the stages of wars and rumors of wars. We're past that point now. The Euphrates dried up and is prepared for the kings to come across again. All the prophecies are starting to fit in the play and come to fruition. Like, by the time y'all see the sign of wonder that y'all want, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be the end. Y'all waiting to see that sky crack open and the Most High send them angels down here with Christ to come and cleanse the earth with all the abominations. By then, it's too late.
Right.
All I can say is y'all get into this class. Y'all stay tuning in every day, man. Y'all brothers get in all black and get in here, man. Y'all sisters, wear something modest and cover your head and get y'all behinds in this class. I'm telling y'all nothing wrong. I lie not. Y'all need to get in here and get this. I pray y'all understand, because the end is near. Let me get 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 12.
I don't come.
We'll go over a few more precepts. I got a couple more videos left to bring out, and these are some heavy ones, because one of them is about another black innovator that was rising up our people, similar to the Black Panther movement, and they unalived him behind it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Another one is about our Hispanic people, our Trinidadians, a little history or backdrop on them. And another one is and the last one is going to be a breakdown of the welfare system. Now, the crazy thing is, I brought out clips about that, Marshaw, and these was taken back in the 60s and 70s. Explain to me how they ring true now in today's time, 40, 50, 60 years later. Explain that. Think about it. The 60s and 70s is not that long ago.
Nowhere near long ago. Just yesterday.
Exactly. That's why the other precept it says we're a butt of yesterday. That's in the history precept. We might get back. I might bring that one out, because it says we're a butt of yesterday, because we're shadows of our former selves, because we have to become like our forefathers in order to fit in their shadow, because they feared the Most High. They kept the Lord's statutes and commandments. We don't. That's why we're a butt of yesterday. Especially when it comes to knowing the Most High God and the Lord's statutes and commandments, we're just an inkling of yesterday. We don't know nothing.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
My man, my Lord. Yeah, man, but this class you bringing out right here is so heavy, right? It's so heavy. And you know what I mean, and these slavery scriptures, and it's just glorious to see how, you know what I mean, like this captivity is about over with. So as I'm going through finding your precepts, right, sir?
Uh-huh.
I'm getting alerts on my tablet talking about these salmonella outbreaks.
Yeah.
Right? It's salmonella outbreaks happening in all the food all over the place right now.
I wonder why that is.
Because of this oppressors and the Most High plague in this place. Salmonella outbreaks is all on the news right now. They keep giving up warnings of what to eat, what you can't eat. Nobody don't know what to eat. you was just talking about how the original Ronald McDonald's was made out of human hamburger meat, and I thought it was a conspiracy theory, and you got the proof right there.
Yeah, and there was a white man. There was a heavyset white man that used to be on the boardwalk back in I think it was like 65 or something like that. He had a famous hot dog stand. I did this in last week's class, and he had some of the best hot dogs in town. Like, people used to trap. And then the thing is, all the men would commend him on his hot dogs, and then the men would disappear. When they raided his house, they found a basement so huge, Marvasar, it was big enough it was the entire underground basketball court, like a big 2 million BTU unit. I don't know if you ever seen how big a BTU unit is, but it was big enough to fit an entire room in a basement by itself.
Good night.
That was a generator, right? That was an underground generator he had constructed under there. And then it was a big locker, like a meat locker. And then in the corner, it was a pile of all the men's clothes that disappeared. And behind that locker, it said 100% fresh meat.
Good night. So they was eating themselves. He
wondering how those hot dogs were so damn good.
Thought it was so that they were going to become the hot dog one day. Good night.
Cooking up his own people.
So I guess we know why he's called the beast of the field again, because a beast eat up any damn thing.
And they can't blame black people because we wasn't in them towns because of segregation. We wasn't allowed. So you can't say we the savages because we were nowhere to be found. We was in our own hood.
Right.
We wasn't in your neighborhood. We was in our own side of town because we ain't allowed. But y'all want to call us savages and call us beasts. And so on and so forth. Interesting. I find that very interesting. Matter of fact, let me get 1 Peter 2:18 real quick, since you brought up slavery.
Come on, sir.
Because we are slaves, Marshall. They passed a law when slavery was allegedly abolished in 18-something. They said they passed a law to still find a way to keep us enslaved, and we brought it out in a couple of classes that we did. Because now, with that law being in place until today's times, if you get incarcerated, right, you automatically go to jail. And not only that, it's called, they would call it a work program, but while you're incarcerated. But what it really is you get leased to a plantation. Once you get incarcerated and imprisoned, you get leased out to a plantation for manual labor. Nowadays, they would call it programs, shoe program, making license plates, things like that. You get leased out to the highest bidder. Think about it. All these private prisons is an underground gold mine. $60,000 per inmate, $10,000 for a transport. That's $70,000 for an inmate and for transporting them per inmate. So when you got a building, when you got a facility that's housing over 5,000 inmates, 5,000 times 60,000.
Sheesh.
And they need inmates in their building. So now let's just say they need 15 inmates from your prison. You'll give them 15 inmates at 70,000 per head. 70,000 times 15. You do the math. This is why the only other booming business in today's society that rocks like prison is the funeral business.
Right.
There's never a slow moment in the funeral business these days, especially out here in Jersey. Did you know, I brought another clip out. I don't know if you had caught it because your phone was ringing, but you know in New Jersey, the state of New Jersey has the most malls in the United States and one of the biggest malls. Did you know that?
Know that.
Think about it. Just in Jersey City alone, we got Hudson Mall, we got Newport Mall, right? Then you got a couple of malls, small strip malls in North, right? And then you also got a mall in Irvington, and you got a mall in East Orange, you got a mall in West Orange, so on and so forth, right? Then think about it. You got Jersey Gardens Mall. Then you got Paramus Mall. You got Woodbridge Mall. You got Passaic Mall. Think about that. And that's all within a 30-minute drive, every mall I just named. That's all within 20, 30 minutes. We ain't even started getting down to Central Jersey, South Jersey, like Freehold and all of that, Atlantic City, Ocean County, Monmouth County, and all of that. We really have the most malls. We are the originator of the boardwalk and have the most boardwalks in the United States off the eastern seaboard. Jersey is a very unique place. We're the home of the blueberries. All the blueberries in the United States get shipped from New Jersey. Yes, Mr. Sun is right. Cherry Hill. That's another mall. We got dozens upon dozens of malls out here, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the Garden State is a very unique place, Marsar. And again, all this ties into history because us being in New Jersey, we study our history. We can study about our own neighborhood.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't want to get off track. Let me because time flying. Let me get that First Peter 2:18.
It's the book of First Peter, chapter 2, verse 18. Servant, be subjective to your masters with all fear.
This was a precept used for the slave master to keep the slaves in check.
Right.
When they said be servant to your master, that meant the Most High God, but we didn't know no damn better.
Right.
So they used it to fit their narrative. It said, see, it says right here in the Bible, you got to listen to your master. I'm your master. That right there is why Nat Turner flipped on him. Stuff like that. Yeah, read again.
I don't concept. First Peter chapter 2, verse 18. Servants, be subject. Servants, be subject to your masters with all fear, not only to the good and gentle, but also to the froward.
Now let's look up what froward means.
Froward. Common concept.
Yeah. FORWARD. Froward.
Common concept. So like, yeah.
See how important it is for you to be in here with me? I could get more done.
Calm.
Now I got the live stream going and I could flip through the scriptures. You know what I mean? I got you covered. After we look at what froward means, I'm going to play these last 3 videos. And then we're going to bust them down. But see, like I said, when I teach history, I don't want to just teach that we were slaves. I don't want to just teach that we stood up and fought against oppression. No. We have to really know our history. We have to know that we belong to the Most High God. We have to know that we did at one point keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High God. And when we did, the Lord was with us. You understand? When the Lord is with us, we can't be beat. As Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, when the Lord is with us, we cannot be defeated. Not by anybody, not by anything. Can we get unalived? Of course, absolutely. But reincarnation is real. We'll be back. We'll be right back. I promise you. They take me up out of here, I'll be back. No worries.
Salakia, sir.
Go ahead.
I got that definition for you.
Forward. What is the definition of forward?
Forward meaning of a person difficult to deal with.
Now, who you think is difficult to deal with in today's society? The oppressor. They don't want to bend. They don't want to fold. They don't want to do nothing. They just want it their way or the highway. You understand? Same thing with the stubborn Negro. We try to tell him something he think he know everything. If he knew everything, then he would know the law, statutes, and commandments. He would know to fear the Most High God. That's what it means to be forward. Somebody difficult to deal with. A lot of women in today's society are forward because they're difficult to deal with because they think that they have to be in competition with a man and get that career and get that top paying dollar and work and adjust and adapt into an aggressive marketplace. When all that does is just give you masculinity qualities. When we don't need that. Why do we want to be with somebody that's like us? Why do you think a lot of these men are becoming more effeminate and wearing dresses?
Salakia, sir.
Stop sagging their pants and stepped into a full-out dress now. Look at the brothers in Atlanta. And they thinking that stuff is cute. Yeah, Marshall.
Yeah, if I may, sir, too, right? You know, I'm glad you brought that out. What you said was heavy about when you brought up about the sisters, right?
Right.
You know how this precept is saying, you know what I mean, about forward. meaning a person that's difficult to get along with. A husband is a master to his wife. You know what I mean? Because he's the head of his wife, right? And forward is also telling you, know what I mean, that even if it's hard to get along with that nigga, you should fear him because that's who protects you.
Yeah. And that's why I said that, because in today's society, we have a lot of sisters out here in the world that's being forward because they wonder where the good men at. They overlook the good men because they want men that they can't have, which are high value men. Like we have a habit of wanting stuff we can't have. And that is a problem that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have always had throughout history. We want stuff that we can't have. A lot of men want women that they're not supposed to have. They want the women that already belong to somebody, but because they think they're beautiful, like there's not other beautiful women out here. It's gonna be one that's just for you. It's not wise to have eyes of another woman that belongs to a brother. You understand what I'm saying? And it's also not wise for a sister to be forward, meaning difficult to deal with, when you have brothers out here that's willing to deal with you. But you have to meet a brother halfway. Like there's brothers that make good ass money that you can have a good life with, but y'all want to live in a fantasy world of buying Gucci and Louis Vuitton and Prada and Balenciaga, because that's the narrative that the white man put on us and stigma that they put on us. They only sell these products to broke people.
Right.
You gotta select white women or rich women that buy these bags or buy this fashion. They designed this high-end garbage to sell to people like us, because instead of us being wealthy, we want to look wealthy. Instead of us being rich, we want to look rich. We look rich, but we broke in all actuality, and it's backwards. And there's a reverse way of thinking. And this is why we have to stop being forward, period. And we got to get to these laws, statutes, and commandments. Let me get to this. Let me get to these last three videos for I lose track. This is the story about Bunchy Carter. Bunchy Carter.
Bunchy Carter, 1969. They called him the mayor of the ghetto, a man who could turn gangs into revolutionaries. But at just 26 years old, Bunchy Carter was shot down on a college campus. And the truth about his death? It's darker than what they told.
Slocky, so I think you froze up. Slocky, sir. Good night. Good night. Kicking us off my
You see.
Salakia, so I believe your video had clipped us.
Yeah, you see that, right?
Con, sir. You think you might have been the oppressor?
Of course it was the oppressor. They don't want the truth to come out. I can't even play that video. You see how real it is?
Right.
Banwari people, our oldest known settlers, fished, hunted, and carved canoes in Orapush. Names like Mukurapo, silk cotton place, and Chaguaramas, palmiste palm, echo their world. They wore crowns of gold, painted red with ruku, noted the stunned Spanish invaders. These tribes traded gold, pearls, and tobacco from the Orinoco to the Guianas. Capuchin priests built missions like Arama, Maruga. Did you know Trinidad was home to 11 known tribes before Columbus arrived in 1498? The Banwari people, our oldest known settlers, fished, hunted, and carved canoes in Orapush. Names like Mukurapo, silk cotton place, and Chaguaramas, palmiste palm, echo their world. They wore crowns of gold, painted red with ruku, noted the stunned Spanish invaders. These tribes traded gold, pearls, and tobacco from the Orinoco to the Guianas. Capuchin priests built missions like Arama, Maruga, and Mayaro, converting, displacing, erasing. By the 1700s, villages vanished, but their footpaths became roads we drive on today. As Indian Walk shows, their legacy walks beside us, still, whole. Should Amerindian history be a core subject in T&T schools today? Like, follow, share if this land's first people still deserve a voice in our future.
That's the last video. So they try to flip this one.
And thus get women off the wealthy folks.
This is the system of corruption when they created the welfare system.
Discourages the beginning of any relationship with a man and marriage.
Well, if he's someone.
And this is just so y'all know, for the viewers on TikTok, this is what started removing Black, Hispanic, and Native fathers from the household when they created the welfare system, because in order for women to get public assistance, the fathers had to be removed from the home in order for the government to take over. And this is what transformed and made the white man your daddy and your overseer over the Black man. This is what destroyed our structure in the first place.
Someone who is sincerely interested in you, you would like perhaps to invite him to dinner. You would like to, maybe he would like to spend the day with you. And if this happens, and you have a neighbor who particularly don't care for you, then the welfare department will hear about it, and then they suppose that this man is living there, or that you are supporting him out of your funds, you're feeding him with your funds, or if you claim you're not feeding him out of your funds, then their answer will be, then he's giving you money.
And she said, oh, you can't have a boyfriend. We don't allow that. And I wanted to know why. And she said, because it doesn't look right, with the kids. And so I said, I still don't see where they have anything to do with me with a boyfriend. And so we have to get rid of him. But we doesn't allow the ADC mothers with boyfriend. And I couldn't understand that. So she left. When she left, well, then she come back to tell me that my case was denied. This is what happened. She come back to tell me that they had denied me, that I could not get on the aid.
And
yeah,
it begins again.
They threaten mothers with denial of benefits.
Brenda is 19, unmarried, and
Mrs.
a baby.
I'm gonna save this for the next class.
She's learning to care for him on her own.
Long.
She's trying to get a job to support him, and she
who
has 5 children of her own.
So this is the same mentality our sisters carry today.
The father of her child.
What is that?
This is the same mentality that our sisters carry today. This is the reason why there ain't no damn fathers in the house to this day.
Right. Now, because think about that movie. Think about that movie, Claudine.
And then they came up with this system about, don't sign the birth certificates and everything now. You don't sign the birth certificate.
Let me tell you something. If a father signs the birth certificate, he automatically signs his rights over.
So he got to take care of the child even if it's not his.
Huh.
I don't con, sir.
Let me play a little bit more and then and we wrap it up. Let me play a little bit more.
I mean, I would have married him, you know, for while I was carrying the baby, but he had no job and couldn't support us and his sister getting married. When no sister getting married. So I said, wait. I plan on marrying him next year. No sooner than next year. Have to give him time to work first. I mean, what's the sense of marrying somebody if he can't support you? That's his job to support you and the baby. Not my job to support him and the baby.
Yeah,
So after he start working, you know, work more than he been working, then I'll marry him. And I think he's able to take care of two.
Not necessarily.
Many of the girls who go on welfare never graduate from high school. A girl who gets pregnant in most high schools is automatically expelled. Usually she doesn't come back. She's on her way to a lifetime of dependence on welfare. The Webster School in Washington, D.C. is a high school for pregnant girls. A psychotherapy session is a weekly part of the curriculum.
I first found out that I had become pregnant, and when I found out that there was this school called Webster, I thought that I was going to be shut out away from the other people and that I was going to be an outcast. But when I came into Webster, it seems that I had more what you would say, people on my side, more attention going towards my way. And with the help of Miss Gill, and then with the help of some of my good friends here, I seem to be making it and all.
And being here with these girls, you know, they are closer to you. I think that all of us are closer together than girls that have not been pregnant, because they all have their opinions and they can easily say things. But we have, you know, we're all going through the experience.
Mrs. Patricia Schiller is a clinical psychologist. She directs the conversation toward future plans and prospects.
Well,
I'm gonna cut it there, right, for Town State. But we're gonna definitely pick this back up. Let me tell you something. Yeah, she's controlling the conversation toward future, but futures without husbands, futures without boyfriends. That's what that's the narrative they're pushing. Because again, you can't get public assistance and have a man. When you get Section 8, he is not to be on your lease.
Right.
Unless y'all are legally married, like white people ceremony married. You understand? They give you all types of stipulations to give you crumbs. You got 3-4 kids, you only get $400 or $500 in stamps, and they only give you like $200-300 in cash. What the hell is that? What the hell is that? And then if the man want to get assistance because he ain't got nothing going on, he can't work. You can't have a job, can't have no income coming in. They're gonna give you less than $300 in stamps a month, and they're gonna give you less than $200 in cash. And that's not even a third of what your rent gonna be if you got a place. That's not even a third of what you would pay if you were staying with somebody.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And it makes no sense. But this is the conditions that they put us in as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, and we allow it because we don't know our God. And we don't study these laws, statutes, and commandments enough to know our God. That's the problem.
Right.
Until we fix that, how can we move forward in life for society, period? That's the bottom line.
That's a lock, yes, sir. What that clip that you was just playing, right? What year was that?
That was the 60s, Marshall. Think about it. It was black and white. That was before we had color TV.
So that right there. So they started this welfare system in the 60s.
Yeah, they started this in I want to say between 63 and 68. Matter of fact, it might be the late 50s they started it. They might have started beginning it in the late 50s and implemented it in the 60s.
Right.
Once they controlled more of the urbanized neighborhoods.
Right. That the whole goal of was to break up the black family so you don't get a black Wall Street no more, and so they could take control of all our people, have them under the system, and then you throw in civil rights, right? And with Martin Luther King and them bad leaders telling us to sell our businesses away, and now we're forced under their system.
But then after the fact, you want to say, I feel like I've led my people into a burning house. What the hell you did, dumbass? What you did?
Good
Well, because
night.
you wanted to keep your white woman a secret from your wife, you dumbass. Michael King.
Man.
I'll tell you, and that's the problem. That's why they don't want us to know the truth about stuff, man. Let me tell you, we're gonna pick this back up, Lord allow it. If I get to teach tomorrow's class, I'm gonna bring this back like a remix, because all this is part of brotherhood too. Learning your history and learning the law, statutes, and commandments, all that come together. Watch how I piece that class together if I do it.
Most High Christ.
You know what I mean? But with that, that's my time, Israel. Y'all make sure y'all pay y'all tithes. Brothers, y'all pay y'all camp fund. And y'all make sure y'all tune into my class on Friday, Last One Kodash, because I teach history in that too.
I don't want to come.
You know what I mean? And with that, Israel, shalom.
Shalom.